Start in supine position, lying down on the floor. Knees are bent, feet on the ground, and your arms extended forward to expand the backside of your ribcage. Press your hips down to the floor and separate your low back from the ground. You can pass your hand under the lower back to check if there is a space. Now, lift up your right leg, clasp your hands behind your right thigh, and start to push your thigh against the hands in order to stretch your right leg a bit more. The target here is not to stretch the leg, but rather to keep that gap between your lower back and the floor. Pulling the elbows to the sides will help you to keep your ribcage expanded and belly long. Take a few nice deep breaths and then switch sides. Repeat the whole process. Clasp your hands behind your left thigh. Start to push the leg into your hands and keep your low back off the floor if possible. If that's a challenge, soften and bend your left knee a bit. Pull your elbows to the sides to keep the fullness of your ribcage and take a few nice deep breaths. For the next exercise, you will need a yoga block or a simple chair will do the job. Start on your knees and step your right foot forward with just the heel on the ground. Flex your ankle. Place your hands on the block or a chair and shift your hips back so that the weight of your body is below your kneecap. Push your hands into the block and lift up your ribcage away from the ground. As you exhale, move your hips back toward the wall behind you, and as you inhale, push your hands into the block to lift up your ribcage and curve your low back. In fact, the more low back you try to keep while stretching the front leg, the more stretch in your hamstring you will get. After a few deep breaths, switch sides and repeat the whole process. The front ankle is flexed, the front leg is stretched, the rib cage floating up away from the ground. Keep the low back curved and start to pulse with your breath. As you exhale, move your hips back, and as you inhale, move your rib cage forward and up. Take a few nice deep breaths and then release. For the last one, start in standing position, facing a desk or something you can push your hands against, like a wall. Step your right foot back, left foot forward, and start to push your hands against the wall in order to send your hips back toward the wall behind you. The point here is to keep your front legs stretched. Then, as you push your hips back, you will get into a forward bend that will stretch your front hamstring. Again, the more low back curve you will keep here, the more stretch you will get. You can also use the dynamic pulsation with your breath. With an exhale, moving your hips further back, and with an inhale, pulling your ribcage away from your hips, engaging your low back curve. After a few nice deep breaths, switch sides and repeat the whole process. Now step the left foot back, right foot forward, and press your hands against the wall. Find the rhythm of your breath and pulse. Exhale, hips back. Inhale, stretch your ribcage away from your hips and push your thighs back to stretch your hamstrings. After a few nice deep breaths, release.